Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to Uncivil Law. We tune in once again to watch some new executive orders be signed, apparently banning men from competing in women's sports. I can't believe we need a law for this. To some degree, I thought we already had a law for this. It was called Title IX. It was great. Title IX caused women's participation in sports to go up something like 800%. Title IX was an amazing success. By requiring equal funding for women's sports in schools and men's sports, it caused women's sports to increase by something like 800%. And then we decided that women don't exist anymore. That was amazing. That was a nice trick. So women don't exist, which makes it very hard, incidentally, to have women rights. You can't have rights for things that don't exist. That'd be like speaking about unicorn rights. What are we even talking about? I don't know. But then apparently we decided women don't exist, or we can't define them. And the White House is like, yeah, no, that's some bullshit. Women do actually exist. They are, in fact, there is a biological reality to this. Men and women are not not exactly the same, especially when it comes to physicality. So, maybe having separate sports for men and women would be a good thing. As we learned, for example, from soccer, the women's national team has done wonders. You put the women's national team up against some 14-year-olds who are men, they're going to have a bad day. The experiment has been done multiple times. Yeah, forget about competing with the men in the World Cup. Can you beat, I'm sorry, I believe it was under 14. I'm sorry. It was the under 14 division. It was the 13-year-olds that women couldn't beat. Yeah. But for some reason, we want to deny biological reality as a thing. I don't know. Can we get the Senate to pass the law? Again, I'm not sure we need the Senate to pass the law. I don't think we need any new law. This is like just apply Title IX. It would be nice to have the Congress to pass law further clarifying this issue, because apparently we need that for some reason. But I think the law as it currently exists is just fine. I think the president can be like, here's an EO, read the goddamn words on the page and try to understand what they were talking about. I appreciate the classical music. It's nice. A little trite, but still pleasant. I do appreciate the picture of Bill Clinton looming in the background. Wouldn't the next president just undo it? A next president could potentially undo it. Yeah. When it comes to an EO. But I'll take what I can get for the moment and hope that Congress will pass some clarifying language in the law at a later time. So yes, an EO can be undone by another administration. So I think Congress needs to probably pass law to clarify this issue so we don't have to have that problem anymore. But I'll take the EO for the moment. J.D. Vance may very well be our next president. He's a very smart guy. He's a very smart guy, and he's very lucid, and he gives great interviews. He's one of the better ones we've seen with the press in a while. He's very good at denying the premise of the question while still answering the question, which is a tough skill to do, right? So it's tough to be able to figure out how to deny the premise and also answer the question. But he's good at that. So he's very nice in being able to do that. And then once JD Vance is president, maybe we could have Barron Trump as president. And just, we could have the Republicans reign for 1,000 years. It'd be nice also if they managed to. All right, here we go, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Yeah. Rock it out, baby. Good song, really stupid lyrics. I didn't even know it had lyrics until this inauguration.
Thank you very much.
And then I actually found a page that showed me the lyrics. I'm like, God, those lyrics are dumb.
You've been waiting a long time for this. So have I. Actually, it was so ridiculous. But here we are. And this doesn't have to be long. It's just all about common sense. Doesn't have to be long. In a few moments, I'll sign a historic executive order to ban men from competing in women's sports. It's about time. Under the Trump administration, we will defend the proud tradition of female athletes, and we will not allow men to beat up, injure, and cheat our women and our girls. From now on, women's sports will be only for women.
Interesting tie choice with Trump.
But before going further, I want to share some
Tiger
very
stripe.
exciting news
Very
from
interesting.
our military. After years of shrinking force numbers at levels that nobody has ever seen before, 4 years of this we went through, and missed recruiting targets every single month. It was just announced that in December, the U.S. Army had its single best recruitment in more than 15 years. Thanks.
People are signing up to be part of the military again. They like the vision of the commander-in-chief.
Every single day, nearly 350 new soldiers enlisted to defend our nation, and they're very, very happy to have done so. We've done lots of interviews, and we asked why this was taking place now, and they just said there's a spirit about our country that they haven't seen in many, many years, and I happen to agree with that. But it really is clear proof that the spirit is sweeping our armed forces, and we have a great leader in Pete. As you know, we all know Pete so well. He's going to be fantastic, and so many of our great heroes, and people are starting to understand what hero is all about. So that is something that is very important. We've gotten the woke lunacy out of our military.
That's a good thing.
Very importantly, getting it out of women's sports. That's taking place very strongly. So in recent years, the radical left has waged an all-out campaign to erase the very concept of biological sex and replace it with a militant transgender ideology.
Preach.
You heard a little bit about this, haven't you, huh? Just a little bit? Does anybody agree with them? No. It would be not a good thing to say yes right here. Female athletes have been forced onto the front lines, and men claiming to be girls have stolen more than 3,500 victories, that's a lot, and invaded more than 11,000 competitions designed for women. Last year, a male cyclist posing as a woman competed in the 800-mile Arizona Trail Race, a very big deal in cycling, and obliterated the women's course record by nearly 5.5 hours. Sounds like a lot, doesn't it, huh?
Sounds like a lot to me.
5.5 hours.
Sounds like a lot.
The weightlifting records, you think that's bad? The weightlifting's worse. In 2023, a man in women's powerlifting broke 2 world records and outlifted his closest female opponent in one event by 440 pounds. And they continue to defend themselves, Mr. Congressman. You know that, right? They continue to defend themselves. We hope they continue onward because I don't think we can lose a race. This was one of the big reasons that we all won, and it's one of the big reasons that we had a record, a landslide like they haven't seen before, very often anyway. And who could forget last year's Paris Olympics where a male boxer stole the women's gold medal after brutalizing his female opponent so viciously that she had to forfeit just after 46 seconds, and she was a championship fighter. And actually, they had 2 women or 2 people that transitioned, and both of them won gold medals, and they won them very convincingly. But all of that ends today because with this executive order, the war on women's sports is over. Thank you, everybody.
New donation from Coffingberg.
Thank you, Coffingberg, for the donation. Very appreciated.
Should have been done long ago, actually. Thank you. Thank you very much. With my action this afternoon, we're putting every school receiving taxpayer dollars on notice that if you let men take over women's sports teams or invade your locker rooms, you will be investigated for violations of Title IX and risk your federal funding. There will be no federal funding.
That's the enforcement mechanism. The federal purse strings. That's how you do it.
So this will effectively end the attack on female athletes at public K-12 schools and virtually all U.S. colleges and universities. I don't think we've missed anything, but if we do, we'll make it up very quickly with an order. And I don't think we will at all. I want to, before we go on, I want to thank so many people that have worked so hard in the political establishment, and they're before me largely. And I think I'm going to miss a few. It always happens when you do this, but it's just one of those things. But we have many senators here, many governors here, many state attorneys generals here. They're all over the place, actually. I see. Some of them went after me, but they failed.
Does this affect NCAA? Yes, it affects pretty much all college sports. Yeah.
And they're really friends, and they're friends of women's sports, that I can tell you. So Senator Marsha Blackburn, where's Marsha? Hi. Senator Katie Britt. Thank you, Katie. Mike Lee, where's Mike? Mike. I love his new haircut. I love that haircut, Mike. He just said the hell with it, right?
I actually forgot to get my hair cut.
I think you look great.
I went out to get my hair cut and then I forgot.
Loomis. Cynthia, where are you? Cynthia, hi, Cynthia. Doing a good job.
I've had a rough day.
And Roger Marshall. Thank you, Roger. Great. Mark Wayne Mullen, Oklahoma. I love Oklahoma. I don't know what it is, Oklahoma. I won 77 out of 77 counties. It's never been done. Second was Ronald Reagan, 56, right? Yeah. And Tommy Tuberville, a great coach. You know, his quarterback was named Mahomes. He was a great college coach. And I said, how good was he? He said, you don't want to know how good. He made me into a great coach. He's pretty good quarterback, right? Yeah, he was very good. He's a good guy, too. Also, governors, we have Governor Glenn Youngkin, Virginia. Thank you, Glenn. Good job. Bill Lee of Tennessee. Bill, thank you. Jeff Landry, Louisiana. Thank you, Jeff. Kim Reynolds of Iowa, thank you. We're trying to move, education back to the states. You do know that. We're making a big move, and we're counting on Linda McMahon. Linda McMahon. And sitting next to you is the new Star is Born. Caroline, congratulations. You've done great. New star. Star is Born. Patrick Morrissey. Patrick, congratulations. Great race. A great friend of mine, and he's really helped us at the border, done a great job, of Texas, Greg Abbott. Thank you, Greg. Jim Pillen, where are you? Jim, very good. Very good. Are you feeling good? He had a bad fall. You doing all right, huh? Good. You look great. Brad Little. Brad, thank you, Brad. Good job. Good job. Do you like education going back to your state? You'll make it top, right? Just so people understand, in the education world, we're ranked very, very poorly. We're 38, 39, and 40 out of 40 countries. We're at the bottom of the pack almost always, or very close to it. That just came out. We're 40 out of 40. And if we move it back to the states, I will guarantee you that if you take Idaho, you take Iowa, you take almost any of the states that I'm looking at right now, they'll be as good as Norway. You have Norway, you have Sweden, you have Denmark. I must say you have China that's very high in the pack, which is no longer, we can say it has to be a small area. China is very big, but they do a very good job. But we'll have at least 35 of our states that will be as good or better than any of those countries, and we have to get it done. Attorney General Steve Marshall. Steve, thank you very much. Steve, wherever you may be. General Tim Griffin. Thank you. Thank you. A person who is so wonderful. Brenna Bird, where are you? Brenna Bird. Thank you. She supported me before people wanted to support me, right, Brenna? Wow. Thank you very much. I appreciated it. Andrew Bailey, great job. Where's Andrew? Great. Stand up, Andrew. One of the great attorney generals. Thank you very much. One of the greats, really. And Jason Miyares. Thanks, Jason. And now we get back to our members of Congress, and we'll go quickly, but it's a great group of people. Steve Scalise is right in front here. What a brave guy Steve is. Steve went through a lot, and he proved one thing to me, only one thing, that his wife loved him. His wife loves him because I went to the hospital that night, and he was not given even a shot, right, Mike? And I was with him, and I was with his wife, and she was devastated. She was really devastated. And I've been to, similar situations, not quite as bad, but the wives were not so devastated. And I can tell you that great wife of yours loves you. So anyway, and what you've done is incredible. The way you've come back, it's you look better now than you did before it happened. But nobody wants to go through that. Yeah, it's amazing. Tom Emmer doing a fantastic job. Thank you, Tom. Great job. Lisa McLean. Lisa. Hi, Lisa. Hi. Good job. Virginia Fox. Hi, Virginia. Tim Wahlberg, Michigan. Tim, great. Jason Smith, great man on taxes. Great man on how are the taxes doing? Okay. We're going to get good things passed, I hope, right? Juan Siscomaris, Arizona. Where are you, Juan? Hello, Juan. Stand up, Juan. You look so good. You always look good. Kevin Kiley. Kevin, wherever you may be. What happened? How come he had no applause? Lauren Boebert. Lauren Boebert. Very much a leader in this. Thank you, Lauren. Kat Kamek, Florida. Thank you, Kat. Byron Donalds, he's doing good. Byron's doing good. Where is he? You're doing good, Byron. Laurel Lee. Thank you, Laurel. Thank you. Great job. Anna Paulina Luna. Thank you. Thank you, Anna. Greg Stubbe hit a home run wearing a Trump cap. The only one to hit a home run out of the park during your crazy baseball game, right? I think I will come. I think I'll come. If you're playing, I'll come. Somebody that's very shy. This is a very shy person, and but she's trying to break out of it. Marjorie Taylor Greene. Victoria Sparts. Thank you, Victoria. Great job. Ashley Hinson. Ashley, thank you. Marionette Miller Meeks. Good job you did. Good job. Great job. Mary Miller. Hi, Mary. Julia Letlow. Hi, Julia. Claudia Tenney from New York. Claudia. Hi, Claudia. Hi. Great job. Nicole Maliatakis. Hi, Nicole. Good. Doing good. I see a great poll with you, Nicole. Michelle Fishbach. Thank you. Great job. Ann Wagner, Missouri. Thanks. Sherry Biggs, South Carolina. Thanks, Sherry. Great job. Nancy Mace. Where's Nancy? Here's something. Oh, are you a believer in what we're doing, Nancy? Nancy takes it on right from the start, right? Would you like to say something? Would you like to say we're doing the right thing? Good. Good. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nancy. Stephanie Bice, Oklahoma. Thanks, Stephanie. Diana Harshbarger. Thanks, Diana. Good job. Tim Burchett. Tim, I watched you on television the other day. You were unbelievable. You ripped that guy apart. Man, that poor guy, he started getting a little fresh with Tim, and Tim just ripped him apart. That was beautiful. I actually left a message. That's good. Great job, Tim. That was great. Monica De La Cruz.
All right.
Monica.
It's definitely feeling like we're taking attendance at this point. So,
Ronnie Jackson.
you know, wrap it
Ronnie.
up. Wrap it up.
Dr. Ronnie. He's a doctor, a great admiral, and a great congressman, right? Pretty good. He has his choice. What do you like doing best, Ronnie?
Wrap it up.
Who is the healthiest patient you ever had? You know why I liked him? The fake news asked, so doctor, he had Obama, Bush, and Trump in the White House. He was the White House doctor. And they asked him, who's the healthiest of the three? He said, it's not close. It's Donald Trump. And from that moment, I love this guy. Right? Thank you, Ronnie. Wesley Hunt from Texas. Hi, Wesley. Beth Van Dyne. Beth from Texas. Thanks, Beth. Burgess Owens, a great athlete, NFL star, an NFL star. Ken Kiggins from Virginia. Thank you. Thank you, honey. Thank you very much, Jen. I appreciate it. Harriet Hageman, what a lawyer. Ooh. One of the best, one of the most talented lawyers you'll ever see. What she did to her opponent was horrible. Let's see, who was her opponent? Let's see. Oh, does anybody remember her opponent? We tend to forget. We forgot that one, huh? And, you know, your speaker, I'm going to introduce him later anyway, but your speaker has been fantastic. Stand up, Mike. He's great. What a good man. A really good man. Also, some friends of ours, Sage Steele, has been very strong on the issue. Sage, thank you. Thank you very much.
Riley Gaines should be named an ambassador. I'm not sure to what exactly, but she deserves it.
Thank you. Thank you. Great job. Tiffany, Justice, Tina, Deskovich, founders of Moms for Liberty, and they honored me, and it was a great honor. And thank you very much, both of you. Thank you. Heather Higgins, Andy Botner, Victoria Coley from Independent Women's Forum. It's a fantastic group of people that fought very hard on this issue. I think everybody in this room really fought very hard on this issue. Kim Fletcher, we know Kim. Debbie, I think Debbie's here. Crew Lidis from also Moms of America. And Penny Lance, of course, CEO of the Concerned Women for America. That is a lot of people. Thank you very much, Penny. Good job you do. That's a lot of people. Can I give here, what don't you hold that? You sell it tonight. So just to finish up, I'm directing the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who, by the way, is doing a fantastic job. In fact, he just left Panama. We're trying to take back the Panama Canal, little things like that. It'll all happen. But Marco is going to make clear to the International Olympic Committees there, and he's going to make it as clear as anybody can make it, that America categorically rejects transgender lunacy. We want them to change everything having to do with the Olympics and having to do with this absolutely ridiculous subject that we even have to talk about this subject. If you went back 10 years or 15 years and you would move forward and listen to this, you'd say, what the hell are they talking about? This is impossible. But you have people out there, Democrats, that are still totally in favor. They can't win the argument. They can't win a debate. They look like fools, and they continue to go on. And it's okay, because as long as they do this and open borders and all of the other things they talk about, transgender everything, all they want to do is transgender and men playing in women's sports and all of these crazy things. And if they continue, I think we're going to end up ultimately, it's not going to matter because we're never going to go along with them, and we're just going to keep winning elections, right, Mike? So when the Olympics comes to Los Angeles, I was responsible for getting the Olympics, and I said, oh boy, this is terrible because I got the Olympics and I won't be president. And then what happened is that an election, strange things happened in an election. So I missed 4 years, and now I have the Olympics. It was sort of circuitous. It was a circuitous situation. And we also have the World Cup coming, which is going to be fantastic. And we have
USA, USA, USA
years coming. That's a big one next year. So that's a very big one. But in Los Angeles in 2028, my administration will not stand by and watch men beat and batter female athletes, and we're just not going to let it happen, and it's going to end, and it's ending right now, and nobody's going to be able to do a damn thing about it, because when I speak, we speak with authority. And for the same reason, just to make sure, I'm also directing our Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, who's also doing she's out there with you, Greg, a fantastic job. She's unbelievable. I was watching her riding yesterday on a horse. She was as good as anybody. She's very good. To deny any and all visa applications made by men attempting to fraudulently enter the United States while identifying themselves as women athletes to try and get into the games, maybe where they are unable to get into the games. We're honored to be joined today by many incredible advocates for women's sports, including the brave swimmer at the forefront of this battle. And Riley Gaines is a person that I've been watching.
Riley Gaines is a hero. She's the best.
She fought hard. Riley was a 12-time All-American. Well, that's pretty good. 12-time All-American who sacrificed countless hours in the pool just for a chance at the title. It's so important to her. She gave up everything and just gave everything she had. But then the league forced her to share a spot on the podium with a male swimmer who took her trophy while the media celebrated this stolen glory. And Riley is just a tremendous athlete, and it was a very unfair situation. I watched it. A lot of people watched it. It was ridiculous, frankly. But I want to thank Riley. She really has been in the forefront. People that aren't that well versed in this would say that she was the leader. And great job, Riley. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. And also with us is another great champion for women, Peyton McNabb. In high school, Peyton was a rock star athlete. Where is Peyton? Where is Peyton? I like Peyton. Nice to see you. Good job. Good job. Looks like a good athlete to me. In high school, Peyton was a rock star athlete preparing for a future in college sports, but in one volleyball match, a much taller and stronger male spiked the ball right in her face, knocking her unconscious, partially paralyzing her right side and leaving her with a traumatic brain injury. And Peyton said it was 100% avoidable if only my rights as a female athlete had been more important than a man's feelings. And we can't let it happen, and it's not going to happen. Not going to happen anymore, Peyton. It's not going to happen. Are you okay? Are you good?
I'm doing a lot better.
Good. That's good. Thank you. We're also pleased to be joined by many incredible leaders on this issue. And as I mentioned before, Speaker Mike Johnson, and he has been so strong on this issue because he's a man of common sense. I mean, it really is. It's common sense more than anything else. So, Mike, thank you. Great job. Great job in everything. He's got the easiest job of any politician in history. He's got the nicest, like 200 and almost 20. It sort of varies between, depends on how many people I take from my administration. It goes up and down a little bit, but I promised I won't take any more. I just wanted to see how good he was. I was testing you. And we have some great people, but he's filling them up rapidly. He had some big wins the other day, very big wins the other day. But you've done a fantastic job. Thank you very much, Mike. We appreciate it. We all appreciate it. And also the dozens of members of the House and Senate and governors that attorney generals, so many people, and the people outside that can't even get in. This room is packed. And, I offered to build a ballroom. I'm very good at building ballrooms. I build beautiful ballrooms. And I actually offered to build a ballroom for the White House. I was going to build it right there. This was going to be the reception room. And then I was going to build a beautiful, beautiful ballroom like I have at Mar-a-Lago, as beautiful as it can be. It was going to cost about $100 million. I offered to do it, and I never heard back. I offered to do it to the Biden administration, very active administration. And they didn't hear back. And I said again and again, 3-4 times, I said to top people, and they just didn't know what to do. They sort of said, this is good, but they had no idea. So I'm going to try and make the offer to myself, Because we could use a bigger room, right, Marshall? We could use a bigger room.
Make the offer to myself.
President, would you like to build? Yeah, I would. We could use at the White House. It would actually be a beautiful addition. It's going to cost nothing. I'll spend the whole thing myself. We'll do a big, beautiful room, but we could use it at the White House. You know what they do when they have a big ceremony? They put up a tent. And somehow I think we've outgrown the tent stuff, right? Don't you think? So we'll see if they can, we'll see if Trump will approve it. But the actions we're taking today are the latest in a sweeping effort to reclaim our culture and our laws from the radical left crusade against biological reality. On day one, I made it official, and I'm making it official policy of the United States government that there is, two genders. We have two genders. What might they be? Man and woman, right? Male and female. Male and female. Can't think of too many others, but it's pretty amazing. I rescinded federal funds to, and this is so important, to any program that promotes transgender ideology using taxpayer dollars. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And last week, I effectively banned the chemical castration and surgical mutilation of minor children. Can you believe I even have to say that? I banned governor, I banned, it's just like, who would ever think we have to even say that? Last week I banned. Every day we're ending the extremism of the last 4 years. We have other things that are just as ridiculous, not having to do with the subject, but just as ridiculous. Open borders where people are allowed to pour in from all over the world, from jails and prisons and mental institutions and insane asylums, people that are very sick, people that are very evil, killers, murderers. Many of them murdered more than one person. And we have to justify the fact that we're moving them out. We are moving them out in tremendous numbers. Tom Homan and Christie are doing a fantastic job, and the governor and other governors too. But that we have to even fight for this stuff is just incredible. And the media doesn't want to talk about it because it's nothing they can talk about. It's just they just don't want to really talk very much about it. Serious problem, but we're doing a great job, and the people understand, and that's why we won in a landslide. You know, they made it easy, and at some point, you know, we have to hope they do come around because we can never let this happen again. What's happened to our country, we can never let this happen again.
Very much agree. Very much agree.
So
hopefully Congress will pass some laws clarifying this. I'd love for Congress to pass a law clarifying Title IX.
Defending the rights and safety and pride of the American people, including our great, great, great female athletes. What athletes you are, too. Tell you. And, you know, I'm not allowed to say this politically. It could end my career. They're really beautiful people. These are beautiful people. But you know, like everything else, it's a little bit different today. You're not allowed to say that because if you call a woman or a girl beautiful, that's the end of your career. But let's take a chance on it, Mike. Let's take a chance. So I want to thank everybody for being here. It's fantastic. And this is sort of a big, big day. It shouldn't have even been necessary to take place. This started a long time ago, and we ended it today. And I'm going to sign the executive order right now, and everything I said will go into effect immediately, okay? Thank you.
Down in front. Thank you. Thank you so much. Everybody, thank you.
You know, if you'd like to gather around me, I think I'm going to be okay. Come on. Come on. Secret Service is worried about them. If we have to worry about them, we have big problems. Okay, do you want to do this? Watch what I do, and then I'm going to give you some pens, okay? Are you ready? What a nice picture this is, huh, Governor? You ready? We'll do a good job. Wait, let me press that. I want to make this a really good signature because this is, you know, this is a big one, right? Oh, I think we have a 10. We have a 10.
God bless you, Mr. President.
The guy is a natural showman. I'll tell you what, man. You can't take that away from him. He is a showman through and through.
Okay? Good. Now you're going to go out and win those events, right? Nice to see you all. Nice to see you. Great going, everybody. Nice to see you. Thank you, kids. Here. Take a pen. I'll give some of these out, okay? Take a pen, take a pen.
Thank you so much.
Where's Riley?
The Sharpie company is having a great quarter. The Sharpie company loves their life. I'll tell you what. The Sharpie company is having just their best life ever. He uses their pens every single day prominently and then gives them away. The Sharpie company's CEO is having the best day ever. Every single day, the Sharpie company CEO wakes up and is like, today's the best day of my life. You gotta love it, man. Let's see if a copy of the EO is available. We'll go through this text of it if it's available. Probably not already. Let's see. Yeah, probably not yet. So the text of the thing is not available yet. Let's see if the one dealing with the transgender stuff from earlier is available. I'm sure it is. Oh, yeah, here it is. So this is from January 28th. So this is a previous order from January 28th while we're waiting to see if they'll post the one that we just read. But we'll read this one to see while we're waiting. So this is protecting children from chemical and surgical mutilation. Yeah. Yeah, this is a big deal. Like these issues are prominent to me. These issues are prominent to me. The issues of transgender and the issue of transgender competition in sports and the issue of the mutilation of the children and this transgender ideology is right at the top of the list of reasons I voted for Trump. Like this is right at the top of the list of reasons I voted for Trump. So, you know, everyone has their own reasons and own things that speak to them. And this issue speaks to me. This idea that, you know, this false idea that women can be men and men can be women and there's no difference, incidentally, which also is why we had the surgery. I mean, the whole thing, the whole transgender ideology is completely incoherent from stem to stem. It doesn't make any logical sense. You can't ever pin it down. It's like you can't even pin them down on something like, what is a woman? They're like, well, a woman is a person who identifies as a woman. It's just like, bitch, do you know what circular reasoning is? Bitch, do you know what a tautology is? You can't define the word using the word. Okay? Do you even know what a tautology is? Okay? That's some bullshit. Okay? And then, like, the whole idea doesn't even make sense because they'll say things like, well, men and women are exactly the same. Well, if men and women are exactly the same, then you can't transition from one to the other. Now, can you? Because if A is equal to A, how do you transition from A to A? There's nowhere to go. Literally, you're already there. So like the whole thing doesn't make any sense. Like there is no such thing as gender. Gender is a complete construct. Also, we need surgery to better identify as the gender we're born with. It's like, well, which is it? Is it a construct or is it natural? Is it biological or is it social? Does it have a definition or doesn't it? These things don't make any logical sense. It's completely incoherent from stem to stem. You can't ever pin them down, even on what they're talking about, because the very moment that you pin them down to anything, it necessarily excludes. That's what definitions do. Definitions exclude, and they don't want to do that. So they keep everything amorphous, so that you can't even know what you're talking about. It's like you hate, they say like something like you hate women. How can I possibly hate women? You can't even tell me what a woman is. How can I hate them? The whole thing is bullshit. Okay, the whole thing is bullshit. And it makes the logic parts of my brain hurt, trying to make the logic work, because it just doesn't work. Okay? It just doesn't work. And then on top of that, that's bad enough for adults. And then on top of that, they want to bring the children into it and say that if a child says they're a gender other than the one that they were born to, which again, by the way, is a pure social construct, but they need to have surgery for the pure social construct, don't you know? That you're a bad parent, and they'll try to take your take your kids away for not letting the kids transition. It's like, this is bullshit. This is absolute bullshit to me. It makes no logical sense. And you can say Trump's definition of man and woman, it leaves something to be desired, but give me a better alternative. And they won't do it. They're just like, the definition's wrong. Okay, give me a better one. You don't like that definition? Give me a better, more exciting definition. What the hell are we talking about, right? Jesus Christ. Anyway, so apparently we needed an executive order to protect children from chemical and surgical mutilation. I remember once when I was doing, what was it? I was in, like middle school, I think, and we were doing debates. Because I've been doing debate for like ever. I love debate. It's one of my favorite things. It might have been elementary school. And I don't remember. I was very young. And we went down to the state legislature. And I was like in elementary school or middle school. And we were going to be the pages for the day, right? So they normally have, pages that are the people that like ferry papers back and forth. But we were going to be the pages for the day, right? And I remember they kicked us out of the room. In South Carolina. They kicked us out of the room in order to discuss a really sensitive issue. And later I found out the issue they were discussing was female genital mutilation. And like, I even knew what that was, even in like in middle school. I knew exactly what they were talking about because I like to read, and I knew exactly what they're talking about. And I'm like, man, they didn't even want to talk about it, in the front of the kids. It's whispered, and now it's like out in the space, man. The whole thing's fucked up. The whole thing's fucked up. Protecting children from chemical and surgical mutilation. That sounds like a really good idea. Maybe we should do that. By authority of the President and me and laws of the United States, is hereby ordered the following. All across the country today, medical professionals are maiming and sterilizing a growing number of impressionable children under the radical and false claims that adults can change a child's sex through a series of irreversible medical interventions. Yeah, pretty much exactly that. It's like, yep. Let me get it more on page. There you go. This dangerous trend will be a stain on our nation's history and must end. It is one of the more evil things that has ever happened in our nation's history. This is one of the most evil, the idea that you can transgender children. The idea that a parent who refuses to transgender their child is a bad parent. If the child says, if I feel like a man, or I feel like a girl, and the parent refuses to go along with it, they're a bad parent for refusing, and we're going to try to take your kids away. Like, it's one of the most evil things that's ever happened in America. It's one of the most evil things that's ever happened in America. It's such bullshit. Countless children soon regret that they've been mutilated and begin to grasp the horrifying tragedy. They'll never be able to conceive children of their own or nurture their own children through breastfeeding. Facts. Moreover, these vulnerable youth medical bills may rise throughout their lifetimes, as they are often trapped with lifelong medical complications, a losing war with their own bodies, and tragically, sterilization. Just say it louder for the people in the back. Just say it louder for the later people in the back. And this idea that we're going to give people hormone treatment and we're going to watch and wait, total bullshit. Nature is kind of undefeated. You can't really fuck with it too hard. It's like, oh, we're going to just put a pause on puberty. It's a pause button. You can just put the puberty on pause, and you can unpause it at any time, and there's no consequence. That's some bullshit lies. Accordingly, it's the policy of the United States that will not fund, sponsor, promote, assist, or support the so-called transition of a child from one sex to another, and will rigorously enforce all laws that prohibit or limit these destructive and life-altering procedures. Facts. For the purpose of this order, the term child or children means an individual under 19. I'm not sure why 19 as opposed to 18. I'm not sure why they picked that number. If there's some 18-year-old who desperately wants their transition, let me know. But The term pediatric means relating to medical care of a child. Thanks for clearing that up. The phrase chemical and surgical mutilation means the use of puberty blockers, including GnRH antagonists and other interventions to delay the onset or progression of normally timed pregnancy, puberty, in an individual who does not identify his or her sex. Like, that's a thing you can do. You can just hit the pause button. It's a freebie. It's a pause button. Bullshit. Yeah, get Gretchen in chat. Kids can't consent to getting their ears pierced, but can consent to surgery. I know. The whole thing doesn't make any sense. The whole thing is lies. The use of sex hormones such as androgen blockers, estrogen, progesterone, or testosterone to align an individual's physical appearance with the identity that differs from his or her sex. If you want to give them those medications to help them be better versions of their own sex, that's cool. Like if they're not producing testosterone, if a male isn't producing testosterone or something like that, and you want to give them testosterone, that's cool. You know, because you're trying to fix a medical problem. That's what you're trying to do. That's the practice of medicine. Oh, this male is not producing testosterone. Let's give it to him artificially. We're going to fix the medical problem with medicine. Wow, what a deep concept, right? But if you're trying to do it for the purpose of difference from sex, go to hell. Right? And surgical procedures that attempt to transform an individual's physical appearance to align with an identity that differs from his or her sex, or that attempts to alter or remove an individual's sexual organs to minimize or destroy their natural biological functions. This phrase is sometimes referred to as gender-affirming care because they came out with a nice-sounding euphemism for it. It's like if we call it gender-affirming care, that sounds nice, as opposed to mutilation, as opposed to castration, as opposed to butchery. We gave it a nice sounding word. We called it gender affirming care. We gave it a nice euphemism. How would a parent know that about testosterone? The same way that they would know anything else. Like their child isn't developing properly. You know, their child isn't developing properly, or there's other medical conditions. It's determined in a blood test. The same way a parent or a doctor would determine anything about a child, or for that matter, any person in terms of their health. How would a person determine that they're not getting testosterone when they're supposed to? That's a dumb question. Do a blood sample. Like, you know, that's how you determine that. That's how you do it. Jesus Christ. Oh, my kid is 16 and he doesn't seem to be going through puberty. Something might be wrong here. Maybe I should go check that out. Maybe there's a problem, right? Ending reliance on junk science. The blatant harm done to children by chemical and surgical mutilation cloaks itself in medical necessity, spurred by guidance from the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, which lacks scientific integrity. In light of scientific concerns with this guidance, agencies shall rescind or amend all policies that rely on the guidance, including the Standards of Care version 8. Within 90 days of the order, the Secretary of Health and Human Services shall publish a review of the existing literature on best practices for promoting the health of children who assert gender dysphoria, rapid onset gender dysphoria, or other identity-based confusion. The Secretary of HHS, as appropriate and consistent with applicable law, shall use all available methods to increase the quality of data to guide practices for improving the health of minor with gender dysphoria, rapid onset gender dysphoria, or other identity-based confusion, or otherwise seek chemical or surgical mutilation. So we want to make sure to get these people who need help, but the help isn't cutting off their balls or cutting off their tits. That's not the help. The head of each executive department or agency that provides research or education grants to medical institutions, including medical schools and hospitals, shall, consistent with applicable law and coordination with the Director of Office of Management and Budget, immediately take appropriate steps to ensure that institutions receiving federal research or education grants and the chemical and surgical mutilation of children. So that's how we get the hospitals and doctors to play ball. The money. The money. How do we get them to play along? The money. Do you like money? I sure do. Would you like a big pile of money? I sure would. Here's what you need to do to get the big pile of money. Yay, money. Yay, money. Money talks, man. Money talks. The Secretary of HHS shall, consistent with applicable law, take all appropriate actions to end the chemical and surgical mutilation of children, including regulatory and sub-regulatory actions, which may involve the following laws, programs, issues, or documents. So how am I going to be able to do this? How am I going to be able to leverage the federal government? Well, no problem. How do I do that? Medicare or Medicaid conditions, participations or conditions for coverage. Oh, do you want Medicare? Do you want Medicaid? Do you want to be able to offer Medicare? Do you want to be able to offer Medicaid? Do you want to be able to accept Medicare? Do you want to be able to accept Medicaid? Do you like money? Do you like money? Say it with me. Hooray, money. Clinical abuse or inappropriate use assessments relative to state Medicare programs. Mandatory drug use reviews. That would be our friends at the FDA. Section 1557 of the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act. Quality, Safety, and Oversight Memorandum, Essential Health Requirements, and the 11th revision of the International Classification of Disease and other federally funded manuals, including the DSM 5th edition. We are going to start making some changes around here with the federally funded manuals. You like money? Do you like money? Hooray, money. The Secretary of HHS shall promptly withdraw HHS's March 2, 2022 guidance document titled HHS Notice and Guidance on Gender-Affirming Care, Civil Rights and Patient Privacy, and in consultation with the Attorney General shall issue new guidance protecting whistleblowers who take action related to ensure compliance. The Department of Defense provides health insurance through TRICARE to 2 million individuals under the age of 18. That is a lot of people. That's a lot of people the Defense Department provides insurance to. As appropriate and consistent with applicable law, the Secretary of Defense shall commence rulemaking or sub-regulatory action to exclude chemical and surgical mutilation of children from TRICARE and amend the handbook to exclude chemical and surgical mutilation of TRICARE. That's how we do it. That's how we make them do it. The money, that's how we make them do it. The money. Do you like money? Here's the money. Requirements for insurance carriers. The Director of Office and Personnel Management, as appropriate and consistent with law, shall include provisions in the Federal Employee Health Benefits and Postal Service Health Benefits Programs call letter for 2026 specifying that eligible carriers, including the Foreign Service Benefit Plan, will exclude those coverage. Hey, every federal employee who uses federal insurance, yeah, none of those plans can include this anymore. None of those plans can include it anymore. The U.S. government spends a lot of money on health insurance. Spends a lot of money. Do you like money? Negotiate to obtain appropriate corresponding reductions in premiums. Directive to the Attorney General. The Attorney General shall review Department of Justice enforcement of Title 116 of Title 18 to prioritize enforcement protections against female genital mutilation. All right, so I'm not familiar with 18 U.S.C. 116. It's not one of the statutes I know better off the top of my head. So what does it say? It's literally called female genital mutilation. I mean, that sort of tells you what we're talking about, right? So like, hey, here's a federal law. Here's a federal law. Female genital mutilation, except as provided in subsection B, whoever in any circumstances knowingly performs, attempts to perform, or conspires to perform female genital mutilation on a person who's not 18, being the parent, guardian, or caretaker has not obtained the age of 18, consents to it, or transports the person, shall be fined under this title, imprisoned for not more than 10 years or both. So like, this is already a violation of federal law. No more female genital mutilation. We're actually going to enforce the statute. 18 U.S.C. 116 is about to be your bitch. It shall not be a defense that the female genital mutilation is required as a matter of religion, custom, tradition, ritual, or standard practice. Can you do that? You should be able to, right? Because the standard rule is you can treat religion neutrally. Neutral applicability is the standard rule. You can cite Smith and dozens of other cases for that proposition. So as long as you're not treating the religion worse, you can treat it on equal terms. So yeah, that's probably legal. So not so much about that. So no more female genital mutilation for you. I know you're very, very sad. You don't get to hawk off their clitoris with your scalpel, but not so much for you. Not so much for you. Was that too graphic? That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. Convene states, attorneys generals, and other law enforcement to coordinate enforcement of laws against female genital mutilation across all American states and territories. Prioritize investigations and take appropriate action to end depiction of consumers, fraud, and violations of the FDA by any entity that may be misleading the public about long-term safety effects. Hey, if you're lying about these drugs, they're regulated by the federal government. If you're lying about them and what they do, we're going to make you our bitch. Because the FDA regulates these drugs. You're lying about the drugs. We're going to make you our bitch. In consultation with Congress, work to draft, propose, and promote legislation to enact a private right of action for children and the parents of children whose healthy body parts have been damaged, which should include a lengthy statute of limitations. I'm all in favor of that. No problem. Let's create a cause of action. Let's make it be retroactive. Can we do that? You bet your ass. You bet your ass. It's not criminal, right? It's a civil cause of action. It's a civil cause of action. Can you make it retroactive? You bet your ass. Let's go for it, baby. Let's go. Prioritize investigations and take appropriate action to end child abusive practices by so-called sanctuary states that facilitate stripping custody from parents who support healthy development of their own children. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. I was worried about this when I was dating a girl for a very long period of time, and I was worried about this issue. I was worried about this issue because I'm like, this is a real concern to me. This is real concern because I you hear horror stories about child protective services going to people and being like, you have to insist that your child gets cut up. And I'm like, as a parent, no, I don't. And this was a real concern to me. And so this is some bullshit. And we've heard stories like this. We've heard it in California. We've heard it in Texas. Yeah. Within 60 days of this order, the heads of agencies with responsibility on this order shall submit a single combined report to the Assistant to the President for Domestic Policy detailing progress in implementing this order. The Assistant to the President for Domestic Policy shall regularly convene the heads of agencies with responsibility to coordinate and prepare the submission. So, I mean, that all seems pretty reasonable. Like, that all seems like the exercise of federal power, right? Here's this statute that already exists. Here's some money that we're spending. We're going to condition our grants. We're going to condition our spending. We're going to condition Medicare. We're going to condition Medicaid. We're not going to allow you lie about the federal drugs and so forth and so on. So, like, not to say that that there aren't points of it that can be attacked, but nothing like immediately leaps out at me. Nothing immediately leaps out at me and be like, oh, that's just blatantly illegal. It's like, oh no, he's just directing the federal agencies to be like, here's how we're going to spend the money. It's our money. We get to choose how to spend it. Would you like the billions and billions of dollars? Well, here are the conditions it comes with. So that all makes logical sense to me. Unfortunately, they still don't have the act that was signed by the president today on the White House website. So the last presidential acts they have are from yesterday on the website. So not so much with the act that was just signed, but probably first of all, like Title IX gets you a long way. Title IX gets you a really long way. Title IX applies to any school that's funded with federal funds, including federal loans, which basically is all of them. There are probably a few like religious schools that don't accept federal funds, including federal loans, but not many, right? So there might be a few schools out there, but you're talking about very, very few schools. All the K through, so you're basically talking about 99.9% of K through 12 and colleges, including private colleges, including Harvard. Harvard accepts public money. They accept lots of public money. They accept federal loans. You could get a federal loan to go to Harvard. So yeah, including most private schools. So we're gonna basically use Title IX, which is a law, and we're gonna shove it up your ass. That's what we're gonna do. And it's like, yeah, that sounds right to me. And again, with like anything that anything the federal government spends money on, right? It's participation in international associations. It's participation in the Olympics. It's like we got quite a lot of leverage here because we got the money. So that's all about that. Yeah. Yeah. So there's it's a small list of colleges that wouldn't be impacted by this. So that's about it for this case, about this story. All right. So maybe I'm going to go out and make another attempt to get my hair cut. I had issues this morning. I'm not sure if I want to talk about it, but there were complications. So I think maybe I'll go out and make another attempt to do it. Can a private doctor perform it if it's paid privately? Well, are they using regulated drugs? Are they using FDA regulated drugs? Then no. Not really. And also not necessarily, because the federal government can leverage its spending for anything. It can say, if you're doing it at all, like, so you could do this by trying to, what would you say? You could try to do this by segmenting or siloing money. So you could say, like, this money can't be spent for the mutilation of children, but as long as it's other money, then it's okay. The problem with that is that money is fungible. The money is fungible. So if you say, well, you can't spend this money on mutilating the kids, it's no problem because I got this pile of money over here. And I just swap the money around, right? I just send this money over there and I send this money over there and I call it a day. So what they're proposing, as I understand it, is if you accept federal funds, you can't do this at all. So could a doctor do it privately? Not unless they're willing to go all the way. This is like an all or nothing proposition. It's like you're either in or you're out. You're either in or you're out. Do you want the money? If so, you got to obey these conditions in every context. If you don't want the money, then go nuts, I guess. Although still, even then, if you don't want the money, you're still using FDA regulated drugs, which means you have to use them consistent with the FDA. You have to use them consistent with FDA labeling. So the FDA can prevent it by saying you're not allowed to use the drugs for these purposes. So, yeah. Are we going to get the equivalent of black market abortion clinics? I don't give a fuck. That to me is one of the most stupid arguments. I don't like that argument as well. That is a very dumb argument to me. I don't like that argument. If you make abortion illegal, then it means there's going to be black market abortions. I guess that's probably true. I mean, it's necessarily true, right? If you make the legal thing illegal, then any further use of it will be illegal. Wow, that's a genius concept, right? If you make the legal thing legal and illegal, anyone who continues to do it will be breaking the law. But that's a really dumb argument to make it legal. Like, we should have it be safe. It's like, really? We should have it be safe? We should have it be safe? It's like, no, that doesn't make sense. It's like, you want to break the law? It's probably not going to be safe. It's like, are you going to get injured from the illegal abortion? Maybe. But that argument basically is a argument to make everything. That's an argument to make anything that harms anybody that's illegal legal, right? That's an argument that anything that has negative impacts that's illegal should be legal so that it won't harm people anymore. And it's like, that's just a dumb argument to me. That doesn't make any sense, right? It's like, let's take all the restraints off so it will be legal. It's like, no, let's not, right? Right? I mean, for example, I don't know. There's any number of examples you could pick. I don't know. But so, like, will there be illegal back alley transgender clinics? Yeah, maybe. But to me, that's like a really dumb argument to make it legal. The illegal thing may be done in a non-safe manner. That's fair. But it's a very dumb argument to make it legal. There's got to be a happy medium on the abortion issue. It depends what your views of the issue are, right? It depends fundamentally what your premises are, right? That's the problem. Like, what are your fundamental premises? Like if your fundamental premise is that the life in the womb is a human being entitled to human rights and can't be just destroyed on a whim, it's like, well, what is the middle ground position? Right? What is the middle ground position? It's like, I don't know. And the states are trying to argue that out right now, but it's really hard if you're from first principles. It's like I think murder is bad. Like I think murder is bad, and you think murder is okay, so we should allow some murders. It's like no, that's real. That doesn't work for me, right? It's like that doesn't work for me. Can we just say for religious liberty reasons? We could say that, but as I mentioned just now, or as I mentioned a moment ago, as long as you're religiously neutral, it's fine. And again, you go to Smith and a couple other cases on that. The Supreme Court has commented, as long as you're religiously neutral, it's fine. So as long as you say it's not okay for anybody and you're religiously neutral, the law should withstand scrutiny. So because I have a religious belief in it doesn't allow you to break the law. I could have a lot of crazy religious beliefs. If you say that a person who has a religious beliefs gets to break a law that otherwise would be illegal, I tell you what, I'm suddenly going to have a lot of very interesting religious beliefs. And of course, under the Constitution, I'm entitled to any religious belief I want. Because I have freedom of religion, I'm entitled to any religious belief I want. So if you incentivize me to have religious beliefs, I'm going to have a lot of exciting religious beliefs. That's a recipe for disaster. You're essentially pro-life, believe the woman has the right to make the decision for themselves. Like before 15-week mark. Okay, so before 15 weeks, it's not a human being entitled to human rights in your view. Okay. I mean, I'm not sure what about the 15-week mark makes it a human being that has human rights, that you think they're entitled to human rights. I'm not sure about what the 15-week mark does that transition for you, but if you think that prior to 15 weeks, it's not a human being entitled to human rights, then I guess okay. Then it's not an issue of moral consequence. There's just some people who don't believe that. So how can you compromise with somebody who doesn't believe that? It's like, it doesn't really work. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for now. I'm going to make try number 2 to get a haircut and see if we do any better the second time around. I've had a very frustrating day today. I'll tell you what. I've been on civil law until later. For now, my friends, I hope all is well. Cheers for now, my friends, and goodbye.